So, a lot of people have been hard pressed about the new Assassin's Creed using Yasuke instead of a Japanese man, real or not, as a main character in the game. Look, your feelings are valid if you feel like they're trying to cater to a certain audience, but hear me out. Thing is about Yasuke is that much isn't really known about his time in Japan, but he did survive the insurrection against Oda from another retainer, by the way. He was there through being in service to the Italian missionaries when they got there, where he got the attention of Oda, who just liked him by his side, just always wanted to see a black guy because he's heard of black men and didn't believe, apparently, that, his skin wasn't really black. Had him, washed up and down, and he was surprised, like, hey, cool, a black man, I want you by my side. It's just a story that I've seen here and there about Oda's interactions first with Yasuke. Okay, everybody, let's be honest here, okay? The recent Assassin's Creed games have been made clear to have foreigners being in other countries being sort of the norm in a story sense, right? So Yasuke being an assassin in disguise who uses his difference as an incredible smokescreen for their female assassin character can do her thing, it makes sense story-wise, right? Like, he's not just going ahead and like hiding in the shadows or anything. Clearly, from the trailer, he's just out in the open. He's just chilling, right? He is the big old smokescreen. He is the big old distraction from what the female assassin character is doing. People are hard pressed about Yasuke not being a Japanese man, but you gotta realize Oda had many enemies. His own retainer, again, a Japanese man, killed him, right? For reasons that I think many people don't even know nowadays. He just did it just because he saw an opportunity, I suppose. And Yasuke actually survived the whole ordeal, and it makes sense that if they wanted to use him for a story, they could use him because he survived it. He's seen it all. He even tried to protect Oda's son at some point, but that was where he got captured. And he was injured and sent back to the missionaries and so on. So this makes sense, right, story-wise, for what they were trying to create. At the same time, they are trying to put together the little history we know of Yasuke, because barely any history or info from his time in Japan is barely mentioned or anything in history. Like, we barely know what he did, like, at Oda's side. He was basically just a scribe or a paper boy or some shit like that. But we don't really know much about his time there, what he actually did, right? So I think this is fine for Ubisoft's version of history that we all know has gone fucking crazy. Like, there's no doubt about it that Ubisoft's version of history, what's going on, is insane. It's crazy. It's gone off the deep end, right? Am I not wrong? Have we been looking at the same video game series? Like, come on. So when it comes to the trailer, when you see the trailer, we can see that potentially Oda is either part of the Hidden Ones or is a backer of them, who has recruited Yasuke, or he was already a member, and then he later recruits Nao, and they are some sort of hidden one cell here in Japan. In history, Oda wanted to reign over Japan. That is true. And in Ubisoft's sort of lore, sort of things that's going on, maybe this is just a cover to get the Order of the Ancients influence out of Japan and sort of give this whole area towards the assassins, because I guess it makes sense. Like, narratively, Oda wanted to get rid of other daimyo who are backed by, foreign entities. Makes sense, right? So, as we can see, Yasuke is the blinding cover of suspicion that helps Nao, our little, Japanese woman assassin, helps her work from the darkness. Who are you gonna suspect? A young girl of being an assassin, or a big old black dude who, in a country full of, like, Asian people with the strength of 10 men? Like, come on. Like, it's like that the strength of 10 men part is actually a line from Oda that I read before. So yeah, it makes sense, this sort of like light and darkness sort of like switch between them, because yeah, it makes sense. To me, though, I hope they explain Yasuke's rise to being samurai, because he was basically a retainer who was just Oda's paperboy, essentially. However, Yasuke did fight to protect his son, so we know that he did at least fight, you know, during Oda's time being alive. He really did. Again, this is Ubisoft's version of history, and many people even before this felt that Yasuke did more than just be some black guy at Oda's side, which is understandable. But it's also understandable people would rather have the main characters be from their respective lands, which makes incredible sense. However, this is a time where there's war, there's plenty of foreigners coming in as well. Like, did we not just like gloss over that they are Italian missionaries along with Yasuke there? So there are foreigners in these lands, and of course the whole like sort of plot of Assassin's Creed recently is about like foreigners coming into lands and sort of trying to make connections and take things over. Like it's there, but like, come on guys, like it's part of what's going on. This is just more blatant, more in your face. And I know there are plenty of badass samurai during this time who are Japanese during Oda's time, but they are probably not, they probably do not fit the narrative that Ubisoft is trying to create, and Yasuke had enough wiggle room with his lore, or lack of, to do something with it. Do you guys really all right, do you guys really trust Ubisoft with not fucking up a famous samurai's lore and, you know, history? Wouldn't you rather they just do something with a character that barely has anything to do with a lot of what's going on there, like that we don't know that he did anything there? I would rather they go ahead and add stuff to Yasuke's sort of history there than fuck up a whole nother established samurai. And that's just me. They may be catering a little bit. However, I would rather they go ahead and just add stuff to Yasuke's whole thing instead of fucking up a whole other samurai's whole, you know, lore and history. That's just me. But yeah, I'm excited to sort of play it. I might review it on the channel. Who knows? I say just let them cook. But again, it's Ubisoft. The gameplay and story-wise probably won't be that deep, but who knows? They might be cooking in the kitchen with this one, because I actually am interested in this Assassin's Creed. The last one, I think it was Mirage, I couldn't give a shit about. Like, it wasn't appealing to me. So, what do you guys think about this? Are you interested? Hate it? Love it? Tell me your thoughts. I'm just waiting on more info and gameplay, and hopefully the story is good and that it makes sense, right? Ubisoft would probably overcharge pricing for different versions of the game, but that's a given at this point because they need money. They really do need money. Watch out for another video today or tomorrow that involves Ubisoft. So, that's been me, Cinnamon. Hope you guys have had a great day. Stay safe mentally, emotionally, and physically. Take care.